Next up, we have a live podcast recording by David Spark, the host and producer of CISO Series. CISO Series is a media network for cybersecurity professionals, delivering the most fun you'll have in cybersecurity.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to record in just a moment. Just a few things I want to tell you. So this is going to be a live audience recording. We may stumble on something. If that happens, we'll just repeat what we said. It's all because we just want to get that sound recorded. You are part of the show. You see this microphone that is pointed at you? We are recording you as well. So applause, laughter, anything you make, that all gets recorded. So please feel free to do. Don't,
especially at David.
No.
Right.
Feel free to do that as well. Now, one of the things I know there's this very strict policy about photo taking here at B-Sides. I do have a photographer who's taking photos of us, and he's planning on taking like silhouette, back of head shots, and also blurred photos. But I want to know, because I just want to gauge the crowd, and please feel free if you're uncomfortable. Does anyone have a problem here of getting their photo taken at all? Just raise your hand if you have a problem. Anyone? No one? That is great.
There you go.
That is great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is our kind of audience. I can see this.
Michael O'Donnell, I want to give him full credit. He's an amazing photographer. You have free reign to shoot photos. Thank you, everybody, for that as well. All right. We're going to start. I'm just going to tell you we're going to get, I'm going to hit the record button. In fact, I'm going to hit it now. And I'm just going to ask for 10 seconds to silence the audience, and then we'll begin the show. Have a lot of fun. We will be done in exactly 45 minutes. All right, here we go.
Biggest mistake I ever made in security. Go.
Many may relate to this, which is naively trusting a strategic vendor to put the best interest of me as their client in front of their own revenue targets.
It's time to begin the CISO Series Podcast, recorded in front of a live audience in San Francisco.
Welcome to the CISO Series Podcast. My name is David Spark. I am the host and the producer of the CISO Series. Joining me here on stage is my co-host. Has been with me. It's almost been exactly 6 years.
Whoa.
June 1st, 2018 was when we started this. And we are less than a month away from that. So pretty much the gentleman to my left, that is Mike Johnson, who is also the CISO of Rivian. Let's hear it for Mike Johnson.
Hi, thank you, everyone.
We are, by the way, for those of you, if you heard at the very beginning, we are at the B-Side San Francisco event. We are in Theater 13. It is a huge theater. Is beautiful. What is most spectacular, now the people in the room can see it, and we'll put photos of this up, when you go to listen to this episode, go to the podcast, but our logo is physically the largest I've ever seen it in my life, and it's on this giant movie screen. It looks spectacular. The other logos that are up there are our sponsors, and I do want to mention them. Let's hear it for our sponsors, Devo, NetSpy, and Eclipsium. Let's hear it for them. Thank you very much. We will be hearing from all of them later in the show. So I'm going to bring in also our guest now, who is the host of our other show, Defense in Depth. That is Steve Zalewski. Let's hear it for him, Steve.
Yay, Steve.
All right. The question I have for both of you gentlemen is, we're at B-Sides. It is sort of the precursor to the RSA conference. I'm actually shocked at the number of people I ran into here that are only sticking around for B-Sides and not sticking around for RSA, which was shocking. That's actually a first for me in terms of experience. I'm sure people have done it before. But what's your experience of the big difference between this conference and the other conference?
B-Sides is very community-driven. Like, this is really an event that's for the people who are actually attending it, rather than people who are just showing up to get swag off of a vendor. Like, this is really the context, the content here, so much better than RSA because it's by the community.
And do you feel the conversations are stronger here than at RSA?
Oh, I think so. They're also more real. Like, these are real conversations here. And RSA, frankly, it's a sales conference.
So let me ask you, I'm going to be attending both conferences. I've had good conferences here, or good conversations here. Should I worsen my discussion when I go over to RSA?
Worsen your discussion. Tone it down a little bit.
Tone it down.
Yes.
All right, Steve, your take?
This is my best conference. The way I look at this, these are my peers. This is T-shirts and no socks, folks. Okay? And when I go to RSA, that's T-shirts and socks.
I can't believe you got applause for this.
For socks.
Can't we all just get along?
So are companies taking the air out of the open source balloon? Now, sure, open source code is used by the vast majority of all code bases, but recently, Redis sparked some controversy by changing their in-memory database licensing to no longer let developers use the code, noted Stephen Von Nichols in a piece in Computer World. They, being the developers, can still audit it, the code, but they can't build off it or modify it, which is kind of the thing you do with open source. So I'm going to start with you, Mike, on this. Does this risk killing the golden goose of what open source offers to big companies if more organizations follow this practice? And I should note that Redis is not the first to do this. So, Mike, what do you think is the argument for this type of licensing change other than, well, because money?
Well, I think your first question of, are they risking killing the golden goose? I think we've seen this happen time and time again. And your point about big companies really are going to be fine with this. If they see value, they'll license it. If they don't see value, they'll fork it. We saw this happen with Elasticache, which was mentioned in the article. That was a fork of Elasticsearch way back when. But the company Elastic is still around today. They're still very successful. And I imagine we'll see the same thing that Redis is doing. You can argue the reason behind it is they need the revenue to pay for the support services that's required for the people who want to use it. You know,
it seems obvious.
It's not free. So there's certainly some value. There will be some people who will move away, and that's what we've seen before, and we'll see it again.
All right, Steve, what do you think on this one?
So I apply a little creative thinking. And I said, is there another reason that they might be taking this position? So bear with me on this. And I go, I blame the lawyers, which is it's a third-party and fourth-party risk management exercise, right? If you look at the legal concerns with liability and with some of the new policies that are coming down with regards to both compliance and risk, that there's an opportunity that the lawyers are looking at some of this language and they're the ones saying, whoa, 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 whoa. There's a liability issue here that we don't want to take on. That's my creative thinking as to why there might be something else going on.
But, and I feel that very well be the case, but could there be a situation here where they're changing the licensing because of the lawyers, or could it be like a ruling with no teeth, like, they'll let people change the code, they'll let people modify it, they're not going to get that upset about it, but or this is me just sort of guessing this might be the case. What do you think?
I mean, Steve has a point about the lawyers. The lawyers of the companies who might want to wing it are not going to let that happen. Mm-hmm. When you've got a large company, they're looking at the code, they're looking at the licenses for everything that goes in there. And if the license actually doesn't meet the expectations of the use, doesn't meet the letter of the license, then the lawyers will actually not let the company go through.
Could this also be...
You can't wing it.
Could it also be a third-party risk, a regulatory issue that's forcing this to happen as well?
Well, and that's just it, which was the lawyers are there to protect the company, right? They're there to look at any kind of obtuse ways that they could be held liable. And so what they're doing is they're covering their tracks, right? If you ask a lawyer a yes-no question, what's the answer? No. Okay, so they're basically saying no, they're protected. Now we're going to figure out what's reasonable.
Do you think this, I mean, again, we've seen this happen a few times. If they're successful with it, I mean, do you just think this is going to be a nonstop trend?
I think this is a bump in the road and we're just going to continue to do what we do.
Yeah, I think this is something that's been happening for quite a long time with open source, and we'll continue to see it happening.
Yep.
Confessions of a CISO.
Now, CISOs, the gentleman to my left, they stay cool under pressure. Would you say you do that?
Yes,
Mike?
absolutely.
So far, so good. But not always, right? Have you always been cool under pressure?
I have. I don't know.
Have you,
I don't know about
let me ask you,
Steve.
have you ever lost it? Have you just like screamed, holy crap?
Not in front of anyone.
Do you have a closet where you just go in and you scream?
It's a padded closet that I can go in and just scream when I need to.
Take a pillow and shove it in your face?
Exactly.
All right. So there's always something that can make a CISO poop their pants. Now, using a more colorful term for poop, a Redditor on the cybersecurity subreddit asked, what really scares a CISO? And it was quite humorous, but real. The most popular response was, quote, emergency board meeting in 10 minutes. Another popular one was management decisions made without being consulted, such as an acquisition without a risk assessment or changing cloud providers on a whim. And another was new regulations that could put a CISO in court. So I'll start with you, Steve. Have you heard of any of these or any others that come up with your own list? And when you actually heard these, like in a real working environment, did you wish you packed a pens?
Oh, in my experience, CISO at Levi's and then in prior, the one that got me for this is we're going to do an M&A and you're not involved. Okay? There's nothing like
and
being...
Did they say it in a way like making it clear, we're doing this, you're not involved, stay out, don't bug us? Was it at that level?
They basically... We knew there was an M&A going on. We weren't brought to the table. So there's nothing like being disrespected to make you feel like you're a viable and important part of the company, right? Because then you're like, all right, then go buy them. But now I'm going to be defensive. And the second one that got me was board meeting in 10 minutes. That wasn't so bad. It was when I had an incident that was going to have to go up to the board. Okay? Because in that case, the poop storm starts coming downhill because now I'm preparing myself to go, it's got to go to the board. That's going to create an awful lot of work that was of my doing because when you communicate to the board, it's a whole different set of people now that are trying to protect their butts.
Well, I want to dig a level deeper on that one. What happens when you go to the board that becomes like, you're just making my life more difficult? I know you need this information. But what is happening in that moment that's really making your life more difficult?
Well, in an incident, if it stops at the CEO, we have good relationship. They know what we do. They understand, right? Once it goes to the board, now you get the board secretaries. You get all the other PR people that manage the board relationships and communications. And so now the CEO doesn't own it anymore, right? The board does. And so now he's in line. So I got to make him happy for how he's going to message it up to the board. That's the hard part. I got twice as much work.
All right. I throw this one to you, Mike. Again, you can answer the same stuff as Steve or just whatever scared the crap out of you.
Well, I think one of the things that really is most important is to actually not get flustered. Everything that you laid out there, Steve.
We know that, but you do have that pillow in the scream room, right?
I do.
Okay.
But at the same time, you have to manage all of those situations. Like things are just changing all the time. This is normal. Incidents happen. You have M&As. You have to pivot with these. And it really is important to actually stay cool the entire time, even if you're screaming in that pillow when you go home.
But I want to know, of all these things, which are the ones I know on outward face you have to be Mr. Cool and Collective, and we all see that, Mike, but which is the one that makes you really want to do that?
Well, so one of the reasons why we're able to stay cool is because we don't tell secrets.
What?
We do not tell secrets.
No.
So
I'm wrong answer.
I am not going to share any of those with you or our audience. But because our role is really like, we're quite often a therapist. We're a lawyer. We have to have folks trust us. And that's both for, they're going to give us some bad news and we don't panic. And they're going to give us some bad news and we're going to manage that and keep that in confidence.
So there's nothing you can reveal?
Not a one. Nope.
There's just
keep trying.
But your least favorite. Your least favorite.
Nope.
You got to have a least favorite.
Nope. It's all good.
See, this shows how good Mike is with crisis management. Put in a
Even when I'm
crisis. Look
pushing
how
him.
he
I can
manages
manage
through the
David Spark
crisis
is really-
and doesn't communicate anything that doesn't need to be said. Well done, Mike. Well done.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm easy.
Who's our sponsor this week?
We have 3 phenomenal sponsors, and let me tell you about one of them. It is Eclipsium, the leader in supply chain security for critical software, firmware, and hardware in enterprise infrastructure. Now, CISO Series listeners can learn more about Eclipsium by visiting their site, eclipsium.com/spark. That's my last name. Now, there you will find the, quote, ultimate guide to supply chain security, an on-demand webinar presented by Paul Asadorian called Unraveling Digital Supply Chain Threats and Risk, a paper on the relationship between ransomware and the supply chain, and a customer case study with DigitalOcean. If you are interested in seeing their product in action, you can also sign up for a demo, and you get all that at the site I was telling you before, eclipsium.com/spark. That's spelled, let me give it to you, eclipsium.com/spark.
It's time to play What's Worse?
All right.
No stress here at all.
No stress.
No
All
stress.
right. We have a What's Worse scenario, and this is a silly one. Comes from one of our favorite What's Worse submitters, Dustin Sack.
All right.
Of World Connect Fuel Services. And here we go. I make you answer first, Mike. For those of you not familiar with What's Worse, 2 horrible scenarios, neither one you like, but you have to determine by risk management which one is worse. All right, here we go.
Okay.
These aren't horrible. They're more embarrassing.
Okay. So much better.
Scenario number 1. A smartwatch that sends your heartbeat data to advertisers or a fitness app, let me say that again. What's worse? A smartwatch that sends your heartbeat data to advertisers, or a fitness app that posts your failed workout attempts on social media without your permission.
Okay.
Say those again.
So it's got a smartwatch that's selling your heartbeat data to advertisers, so they know essentially if you got high blood pressure or whatever the heck's going on with you. Or a fitness app that tells you that you're just failing at your attempt to stay fit.
Yeah, the second one is peer pressure. So the first one is your data is going off to a company somewhere.
Your health, kind of a version of your health data
Yes.
is going out.
And who knows what they're doing with it.
Yes.
Like odds are they're selling it to somebody else and they're making money off of it. The second one is really just enforced peer pressure.
Forced peer, but and flat out embarrassment.
Right.
And
right.
specifically, they're posting your failed workout attempts and making clear, Mike Johnson
Is
was
terrible at
supposed
running.
to run today,
Yeah.
and he didn't,
Yeah.
and he ate a bag of Cheetos.
They were good Cheetos.
There you go.
So
Small bag of Cheetos.
medium. So the first one, you have someone who's basically profiting off of your health data. And who knows what's going on. The second one is just some embarrassment. Like the first one is a privacy invasion.
Second one's a privacy invasion,
Well, but
too.
you also lose track of it. Like you don't know what's happening after that. The second one, like, hey, I didn't run. I ate a bag of Cheetos. Whatever. So I really
But
do
you're kind of
think-
being mocked by your community.
Well, but that's why I'm using the thing in the first place. Like you buy both of these things going in what they're doing.
Right.
I'm not like surprised, and I'm not being forced to go around with this watch on. I'm making the choice.
It's like the people who get the internet connected scales and they post their weight, which
Yeah.
that is brave.
I don't understand that either. But so again, the first one, I don't have as much control with what happens with that. The second one, I bought it because I want to be
Mocked.
shamed, and I want to be shamed into working out.
So the first one's worse. All right, Steve, I take it to you.
All right. I would say it's going to depend upon which one of those apps my wife.
No, can't be on depends.
No, you know how it depends.
No, can't be. There's no it depends. You can't change it.
You know how that works.
Nice try.
then I would say the worst one is the one that my wife also has my app and can see that data.
So you think the second one's worse?
So I would say the second one is definitely worse. Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to throw this one to the audience. By applause, how many think the first scenario is worse? And that's the one where the smartwatch sends your heart data to advertisers. By applause, how many people think that's worse? Good amount. All right, that's a good amount. Now the second scenario, the one where you're embarrassed, the fitness app posts your failed workout attempts on social media without permission. By applause, how many people think that? A few people. Well, it looks like Mike has won that one.
All that matters is a one.
There you go.
What is Dave's mom talking about?
All right. So this is a new game, and we've played it a few times. And Mike, we play. Actually, if you listen to Tuesday's episode, you'll hear the first round of it. I have interviewed my mom about cybersecurity, and she doesn't know a lot about cybersecurity. I'm going to say very, very little, in fact.
Okay.
So I said, just take your best guess effort on what these terms mean. So they could be a cybersecurity threat, or it could be a category, it could be an acronym, although I spelled out what the acronym is, or it could be some kind of a technology, all right? So I'll play the first one. I will give you a big hint. The first one's easy, all right?
I heard that before.
Great hint.
You know, because she does actually know what this thing is, all right? So I'm the first one's a softball, all right? Here we go. Here's the first one.
As a cybersecurity person, I'd be worried that somebody in my organization is a troublemaker.
All right, Steve, what is that?
Insider threat?
That is correct. Insider threat. All right, good job.
I like your mom. There you go.
Good
She's
job,
my
Steve.
favorite mom.
Now it gets tough. And I'm going to tell you that all these answers are incorrect. They are not correct. She is not explaining what the thing is correctly. But again, you have to use reverse logic. You know what these things are. But if you were hearing these terms for the very first time and you were not in cybersecurity, what would your best guess effort be? Okay?
Sure.
Here we go. And then if they don't get it right, I'll throw it to the audience, see if you can figure it out. Here we go.
Get ready.
In some medium, like kids would get together and push each other.
That sounds terrifying.
What do you think that is? Kids getting together.
Sounds like TikTok to me.
No? Kids, remember, don't think security. She's just heard this term for the first time.
Kids get together.
Together and kick each other?
You know, push each other?
Push each other.
Push notifications?
No. Anyone want to take a guess at this one? What do you think? No?
Good answer.
Ooh, that was good.
Anyone? Yes?
Smishing?
What? No. No, you're all wrong.
Mosh pit. Yes.
Oh,
Mosh
that
pit.
Is
was
someone
good.
back there? What? No?
Pen testing?
No, but that's a good guess. All right, you're all gonna be surprised. No? You ready? It is sandboxing. Okay? All right, we see how this game works? Got it? Got it?
Sandboxing.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Next one, everybody.
It's
That's
from
a cool
large
mom.
Wait,
organization.
hold on. Gonna play it again. Here we go.
It's from a large organization trying to go through you to another organization. Trying to work their way through, get your list of people somehow, or get something from you.
What do you think that is,
I
Mike?
mean, social engineering is what I go to.
No.
Nah.
That's if she was explaining it correctly.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on, wait. Let me get Steve's answer first. Hold on.
I'm speechless.
LinkedIn? Is it
No,
LinkedIn?
okay. What do we got from the audience? Man in the middle is correct. Man in the middle is correct.
Man in the middle.
All right.
Mike and I gave that one to the audience, okay? We didn't want to make you feel bad. Way to go, audience.
Very good. All right. This last one is the toughest one,
Oh, great. They get better.
but you're going to love it.
Okay.
Get ready. Here we go.
Well, when my subscription to one magazine gets mixed up with another magazine, and I get the wrong thing.
All right.
Spoofing?
Okay. I can't stress this enough. Think about the very individual words of what this is, and what could that be?
Subscriptions mixed up. Interception?
Steve?
Come on, Steve, you know this. Nope.
No.
He's dumbfounded. All right,
am
everyone take a
dumbfounded.
guess in the audience. Hold on, wait, what? I'm hearing lots. What? No?
I didn't.
Cross-site scripting is correct.
Nice.
Cross-site scripting.
The audience was amazing on
That
that.
was
Yes.
awesome.
You know, I'm getting
Well
nervous.
I didn't
done.
think anyone would get that. That is awesome.
Cross-site. Mike,
That was great.
You and I, Mike, better find other day jobs here because this isn't looking good for us.
Somebody knows my mom very well.
Yeah, I was. I didn't know your dad was in the audience.
Who's our sponsor this week?
The external attack surface continues to expand as organizations grow along with the number of assets and the perimeter. Now, I'm talking about our new sponsor, NetSpy here. For the security teams looking for continuous visibility beyond a pen test, NetSpy can help. Start identifying and reducing risk to known and unknown assets with the help of NetSpy's attack surface management solution and the expertise of their security consultants. Reduce the noise, validate and prioritize critical risks, and start protecting what matters most. Visit netspy.com. Let me spell that for you. It's NETSPI.com.
What's broken about cybersecurity hiring?
So why do some cybersecurity interviews feel like you're attending trivia night or speed dating? Now, over on the cybersecurity subreddit, which, by the way, if you don't read that, there's lots of great questions and topics that come up there. If you haven't noticed, we pull a lot of our content for or their conversations there for this show. So one Redditor on there complained about that for senior positions, interviewers asked trivia questions to challenge their cyber knowledge. But then when asked about their expertise in a certain area, they just wanted a yes or no with no context. Is this just a byproduct of HR requiring hiring managers to ask the same questions to all candidates? What shouldn't you be asking senior security professionals? And I'll ask you, Mike, are open-ended questions a waste of time or a valid chance for the interviewee to brag about their security prowess?
So first of all, bad interview questions are bad interview questions. It doesn't matter if you're asking the same one of multiple people. Conversely, the fact that you're asking the same question of multiple people doesn't make it a bad interview question. I personally make sure I'm asking the same questions of every candidate because I want to be able to compare the responses.
But hold it. But we're talking from like junior to senior positions.
Absolutely.
Do you feel the same way all the way?
Yeah, all the way.
Right.
Because if you're actually trying to compare multiple candidates and you're asking them different questions, you're not comparing them. Mm-hmm. And you should be making these questions up in advance. You should write them down. It's reasonable for HR to actually require you to ask the same questions. And by going through that, you're doing the candidate a service by yourself being prepared. If you're making the questions up on the fly, if you're making them up in the interview itself, that's not going to give you a good measure, and it's a terrible interview experience. And that's where you end up with these trivia questions. I very much remember being asked while I was interviewing for a security architect role way back in the day. It was, what is the number of TCP ports? Okay, I can answer that question, but it's not a valuable answer for you. I had someone else ask me, what is the number of bricks in Brazil? And that was actually a really difficult question that revealed how I thought. So the questions matter, but trivia questions don't help at all.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you've mentioned that you've actually asked what's worse scenario questions in interviews before.
Well, these are great because what you get out of it is on-the-spot critical thinking, but also what is most important is explaining how you got to that answer. Just answering, A is worse than B, you want to know more. You want to explain your answer. And so that is your opportunity. If you are being asked what seems like a binary question, recognize that it's a bad question, but expand upon it. That is your opportunity to brag about yourself. Your whole interview is your opportunity to brag about yourself. But as an interviewee, you can control the flow. And so if you're getting bad questions, just turn it around and go from there.
All right, Steve, I throw it to you. What do you think questions should and shouldn't be asked? And do you think they should all be asked sort of equally from junior to senior? Or are there certain questions you shouldn't be asking senior, which is essentially the complaint that was made in this Reddit post?
Yeah, and I like Mike's answer, but maybe it's just because I've been in the market a long time, like Mike. Political reality entered that question to me. Okay, and there's some political realities that we all understand, which was one, could it be that your reputation and the recommendations that the HR team has already done has made this basically an irrelevant interview, which is what they're doing then is they're asking you questions because the decision's already been made. Okay, so now they're asking you fun questions. Hey, you know, how many, because we got to fill the time. Let's know each other. In essence, the interview is over. What we're starting to do is build a relationship because we're going to be working with each other. Okay? And so that's why.
When do you assume, when do you assume that? Like, how do you know if you're going in and like already got the job and so whatever my answer is, it's just a relationship building effort, or you should be thinking about it that way?
So that's what I'm saying. Having been on both sides of the camp here, right? That's what I'm saying is sometimes the questions that are being asked here may be an indicator of decisions being made. So I'm trying to bring you to be awareness that you can look at, well, the question is stupid, but think about the context of what's happening here. Is there a set of questions like this where there's an indicator? The other one is the decision is made and you're not it. Okay, and so we're just going through the motions, which is your fodder for the process.
Because you have to interview X number of candidates.
Yeah, interview X number of candidates. That kind of thing. Okay, and so why Mike's answers were absolutely right about how to answer it. That's why I kind of took it from a different perspective to go think about kind of the political reality of as these questions are coming out, if there's a consistency there, realize it may be these circumstances going on so that you're able to also respond in an appropriate mode where you may not get upset if they're easy questions because you may realize, oh, wait, kind of like we're already dialed in, and so we're building relationships.
Understanding security sales.
Do we need minimum requirements for cybersecurity knowledge in sales? So cybersecurity seems fairly unique in that where else do salespeople have little to no underlying knowledge of their product? Of course, as David Colombo noted on LinkedIn, not every role needs this knowledge, thinking marketing managers and other non-technical roles. But the danger lies in sales evolving to senior positions without a deep understanding across vital security areas. We know salespeople are hustling hard, and some are very aggressive, but what knowledge, and I'll start with you, Steve, do you expect them to have from junior to senior, so sort of gauge your response here, and at what level is it cool that they simply don't know?
So I'll go from junior to senior. So if you're an SDR and you're brand new out and you're dialing for dollars, so to speak, okay, you've been given a script. That's a get out of jail free card, right? You've got a marketing degree or a sales degree and you're just following through. So you read the script, I get it. Okay, in which case it's just a process and they're following it and they don't know. Okay, once you get beyond the junior level, I personally demand a much higher level of expertise because if you're a senior guy coming in and doing that, and I'm saying, so you're telling me that selling sneakers and selling security is one and the same? No. Enterprise security sales and protecting companies is very different than selling you sneakers and talking about the color of the sneakers or the tread on the bottom. And I think that's where historically we've been letting the senior sales and marketing teams get away with murder here, is because they've been selling us sneakers into a security enterprise environment and we just can't do that anymore. In which case, don't let the door hit you in the ass.
All right, what do you expect? And by the way, have you found yourself to literally write off a company because the sales team was just so unknowledgeable like that? Like they were kind of clueless in the way you just described?
This is my classic. When I was at Levi Strauss, and I've done this, and you know it.
We've quoted him many times.
And you've
on this
quoted
one.
me, which
Get ready
was
for it. Drum
sales
roll.
team comes in, and I watch, and I give them about 12 minutes, and then I respectfully say, I appreciate what you said. I have one question. How does what you do sell more jeans? If you can't tell me how it sells more jeans, then it's not interesting to me.
Does anyone actually have a good answer to that response?
So about a third of them have no clue, and I say, thank you very much for your time. I'm done. About a third of them actually respectfully say, we've never been asked this before, but will you give me the opportunity to come back in 2 weeks for 30 minutes and take a shot at it? In which case I say respectfully, yes. And about a third of them actually say, I've thought about this, but my sales and marketing teams would never let me put that collateral together. Let me give it a shot.
All right. Well, that's actually an impressive series of responses. All right, Mike, what do you expect in terms of knowledge from sales teams, junior to senior?
My expectations are the same. It's really, what am I willing to forgive? To Steve's point about the junior SDR, maybe I can veer off their script very quickly, and they're not there. They're not ready for it. They're in a white space, and they're not quite sure what to do with it. I can forgive that. But if it's someone who purportedly understands the product inside and out, I'm not willing to forgive that. I'm not willing to let them make things up or make promises that they can't possibly deliver on. That's where we're just like, this just isn't going to work. I don't believe in your product. I'm not going to make a purchase. Thanks, and have a nice day.
Do you ever throw challenges like what Steve, how does this help me sell more jeans?
So I've been toying around with asking how it will help me sell more cars. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but I think Steve's got the trademark, so I've got to figure out a licensing arrangement.
He set that up so you can ask the question. Have you asked Steve, how does it help me sell more cars? Because you should.
No, because the reality is that is a nuance that people really aren't going to be able to answer. Selling a car is very different than selling a pair of jeans, by the way.
Someone's asking what answer you're looking for with the how does that help me sell more jeans?
So net it out, you're going to do two things for me. Either you're going to tell me how this is going to make my security team more efficient, okay, that I'm able to do more with less, or you're going to tell me how you're going to make me more effective at stopping the attacks, which is my ultimate responsibility, so that I can triple the revenue of the company without tripling the cost of my security team. Those are the two answers I'm looking for.
And also call out something that you said once, Mike, on a previous episode of if it's like a vendor like Levi's, and where you can see like the online sales process, and you can see, I can see where this could be a security problem at this step. He goes, how can somebody say, well, I see this step is probably a major security issue, and we can help you with that step.
Yeah, I do think going and doing some research on the company that you're talking to, understanding the ways that security could go wrong, an adversary could get in, something bad could happen, and having basically pre-answer that question in your pitch. I see you have an online shopping cart. Are you looking for these types of attacks? Based on what I'm seeing in your code, you're not. I'm not expecting the SDR to be able to answer that, but that is where they should recognize that they're going to get over their skis very quickly, and they should bring in, sales engineers, security architects.
And I'll dovetail on that, which was, so I talked about efficiency and effectiveness. And I think that's really important, because the difference between doing more with less and doing less with less, right? And ultimately addressing our responsibility to stop the attacks, not just try to eke out every cent out of our resources. But if you look at it from a business perspective, I'll go back, and this is what we did to the board is we went up to the board and said, we have three responsibilities. We have to protect the brand, we have to protect our people, we have to protect our supply chain. And that is how we sell more jeans with security. So align to those three responsibilities, and you start to have a really interesting business conversation.
Who's our sponsor this week?
We have another awesome sponsor, and that would be Devo. Let me tell you about them. Devo replaces traditional SIEMs with a real-time security data platform. Powered by Hyperstream, Devo's integrated platform serves as the foundation of your security operations and includes data-powered SIEM, SOAR, and UEBA. With AI and intelligent automation, your SOC can work faster and smarter so you can make the right decisions in real time. Visit Devo.com to learn more. It's a simple site to go to, Devo.com. Check it out.
It's time for the audience question speed round.
All right. We actually have a good amount of time for these questions. So here we go, gentlemen. I've got a bunch of questions in my hand from fine people here at the B-Side San Francisco event.
Excellent.
And this one comes from Jim McLeod. And Jim McLeod asks, either one of you jump in on this. Actually, it's kind of a what's worse scenario situation. Would you rather be attacked by...
A bear.
No.
No.
Would you rather be attacked by an APT or the NSA?
Wow. Geez. I think I'd rather be attacked by the NSA.
Okay.
Because it's the what happens next, right? With an APT, who knows what they're going to do next. You actually kind of know what the NSA is going to do and what they're going to do with it. So,
all right.
Well, I'm going with NSA because I just got a free pen test against the nation state.
There you go. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. This one comes from Yummy Amas. Let me do that again. Comes from Yummy Asamelui with Well Simple. And he asks, as a CISO, and again, this could be a very long answer, but just give me one example here. Either one of you jump in. As a CISO, how do you demonstrate value to the business? I mean, look, you're getting a big paycheck. How do you demonstrate you are delivering value to the business?
Why are you looking at me?
You have the quote. This is the Gene's answer.
So my suggestion for everybody right now is protect your people, right? Social engineering attacks are the number one way that we consistently get through because people are the weakest link. And so what I would do is focus on the social engineering attack, focus on, the fact that is just getting worse and not better is the number one way that we're trying to slow things down. That's how I would net it out.
Yeah, and actually what you just said there about slowing things down, that is one of the things that's key for me is working with the business without slowing things down. This is how we can help the company remain secure, be even more secure without actually being a pain for everyone. So it's really around productivity of the workforce is where we can help.
All right, next one from Ross Halleluke, who, if you haven't seen, he published the book Cyber for Builders.
Ross, good guy.
Good guy. And I love this question. In an era of consolidation, what are the areas where CISOs are still compelled to purchase and look for, or to look for and purchase point solutions?
Point solutions. Usually where you see these is emerging technologies that your traditional security players haven't figured out a solution for, or isn't necessarily a skill that you have on your team. If you look at the rise of the cloud back in the day, no one really knew how to secure that. And so there was a lot of point products that came around very quickly. Now they've all become massive companies in their own right, but that was an area where we had to look at point products.
Steve?
I'm going to take a slightly different tact on that. I'm going to say if you look at the Fortune 500 that are heavy legal and regulatory driven, therefore they have large audit teams, they do lots of audits and the assessments against HIPAA or PCI or whatever, where the maturity of your security program is what they're trying to do, then they're always upping the bar. So now I'm having to go find point products to address incremental evidence of compliance as they're poking holes at small areas now that I've got the big ones in pretty good shape.
All right. Next question. Quick answer on this from Joe Galuska of NetRise. In their current state, and I want to stress that, in their current state, what do you believe is the value or efficacy of SBOM's software bill of materials? What do you think?
I think that SBOMs are something that are very difficult to really operationalize, and without having it be turtles all the way down. Like there's the SBOM of your suppliers, there's their SBOM, there's their SBOM, there's their SBOM, and it really feels like one of those things where unless everybody is doing SBOMs, you're not going to actually get any.
Well, that's
value
why I
out of it.
said the current state.
Right. So the current state, it's not good. And at best, I can get some information from my suppliers. But I've got 400 or 500 suppliers that are giving us parts that go into our vehicles. I'm not getting SBOMs out of all of them.
All right. Do you have a quick response to this one, Steve?
That's an aspirational risk management process, and we're going to get better over time, and we absolutely have to do it, but it's going to be a slow journey.
All right. Last question, and I cannot stress this enough. You may not dodge this question. All right?
I'm very good at dodging questions.
No,
So
you
established
dodged one
this.
earlier.
But there's 26 seconds left,
may-
so if we wait long enough here, let's
I
keep it
don't
up.
know.
We might be
I
able
That's
don't
not
to.
my timing. That's not my timing. This comes from Misha Sobolev of Affinia. Okay. Either one of you jump in, and
Steve
you
will go
cannot
first.
dodge this question. Which CISO are you jealous of and why?
I'm jealous of Steve because he has retired and he is living a life that I look forward to leading soon. So I am jealous.
Leaving
of
or
Steve.
living soon?
Living.
Living soon. So you're telling your current employee that you want to go and
I am
live like
telling
Steve
them that my plan is to retire someday.
someday. Okay. So he is jealous of you, Steve. Who are you jealous of? And you can't just return the favor.
That's why I went first.
So I'm going to say Jim Routh, because I think Jim is.
I gave a little bit of Jim's history so
yeah,
people
so-
understand
so-
the context.
So Jim Routh, another well-known CISO, major Fortune 500s. Why I call him out is because he is one of my mentors that I aspire to say, how do I pay it forward, right? When I get out of the operational role and take all that experience, what's the right way to pay it forward to make the security community consistently better at stopping the attack?
And that is the end of the CISO Series podcast. Let's hear it for the audience here at B-Side San Francisco. All right. Thank you very, very much. I want to thank all the people here at B-Sides San Francisco. They've been phenomenal, totally professionally run event. This has just been a blast. It was our second time doing it here, and we had a great time. I want to also thank our absolutely fantastic sponsors for making this happen. That's Devo, NetSpy, and Eclipsium. Let's hear it for all of them. And let's hear it also for my guest right here. That's Steve Zalewski on the far left, and Mike Johnson, who's been with me since day one, almost a total of 6 years. I want you to know when I first met Mike, I took him out to lunch. I dropped the bomb on him in that I want to do a podcast with him. Literally the first time we met each other, and for some dumb reason you said yes.
I also had hair.
He had hair. He had more hair than he had that back then. But I appreciate it, and I appreciate everyone else here. We greatly appreciate you contributing and listening to the CISO Series podcast.